You're sitting across from her. The conversation is flowing. She's laughing at your jokes. Her eyes linger a little longer than they should. Everything feels right. And then, without thinking, you say something. Something honest. Something vulnerable. Something real. And in that moment, you feel the shift. It's subtle, almost invisible. But you know, the energy changed. The attraction dimmed. And you can't figure out why. Here's what no one tells you. Attraction isn't built on honesty. It's built on mystery, on tension, on the carefully curated version of yourself that keeps her imagination alive. And the moment you reveal too much, the moment you expose the wrong parts of your inner world, you kill that tension. You hand her the map to your mind. And once she knows the territory, the journey loses its thrill. This isn't about being fake. It's about being strategic. Because while women say they want a man who opens up, what they're actually attracted to is a man who remains slightly out of reach. A man whose depths they can sense, but never fully touch. A man who reveals just enough to intrigue, but never so much that the mystery dies. So let's talk about what you must never reveal if you want to keep her interest alive. Because some truths, no matter how real they are, will push her away faster than any lie ever could. The first thing you must never reveal is your complete emotional availability. Listen carefully. When a woman is getting to know you, she's not just evaluating who you are. She's evaluating how much space you have for her. And if you show her that your life revolves around her attention, that you're always available, always responsive, always there, you become predictable. And predictability is the death of attraction. Think about it. When she texts you and you respond immediately every single time, what message does that send? It tells her that you were waiting, that you dropped everything the moment her name appeared on your screen, that you have nothing else demanding your attention. No mission, no purpose, no life outside of her orbit. And while she might appreciate the attention in the moment, on a deeper level, it lowers your value in her eyes. Women are attracted to men who are wanted, men whose time is valuable. Men whose attention feels like a reward, not a given. When you're too available, you communicate the opposite. You signal that you're not in demand, that other people, other opportunities, other women aren't competing for your time. And if no one else wants you, why should she? This doesn't mean you ignore her. It doesn't mean you play games or withhold affection to manipulate her emotions. It means you maintain the balance. You respond when it's natural. You make time for her when it fits into your life, not when you rearrange your life around her schedule. You show her that she matters, but that she's not the only thing that matters. Because the moment she becomes your entire world, she loses interest in being part of it. The second thing you must never reveal is your need for her validation. Here's a truth most men don't want to hear. The moment you seek her approval, you give her power. And the moment she has power over your emotional state, she loses attraction. Because women aren't attracted to men they can control. They're attracted to men who remain unmoved by their approval or disapproval. This shows up in small ways. The way you change your opinion when she disagrees. The way you seek reassurance after every conversation. The way you ask if she's upset, if she's losing interest, if you did something wrong. Every time you do this, you're handing her the steering wheel of your emotions. You're showing her that your confidence isn't internal. It's dependent on her reaction, and that dependence repels her. Think about the men she's been genuinely attracted to in the past. The ones who kept her up at night. The ones she couldn't stop thinking about. Were they the ones constantly seeking her approval? Were they the ones asking if everything was okay? Or were they the ones who remained calm, secure, and unmoved by her moods? The ones who didn't flinch when she tested them? The ones who seemed perfectly fine whether she was happy with them or not? You already know the answer. Confidence isn't loud. It's not arrogant. It's simply the quiet certainty that you're enough, regardless of her opinion. And when you carry that certainty, when you stop seeking her validation, something shifts. She starts seeking yours. She starts wondering if she's good enough for you. She starts working to earn your approval instead of you working to earn hers. And that shift changes everything. The third thing you must never reveal is your lack of options. Even if you're not seeing other women, even if she's the only one you're interested in, you must never communicate that you have no other possibilities. Because the moment she believes she's your only option, her attraction begins to fade. It's not manipulation, it's psychology. People value what others value. And if no one else wants you, she starts questioning why she should. This doesn't mean you lie about dating other people. It doesn't mean you brag about your dating life or try to make her jealous. It means you maintain an air of possibility. You don't over-explain where you've been or who you were with. You don't volunteer information about your empty social calendar. You don't make it obvious that you're sitting at home every night waiting for her to text. You simply let her imagination fill in the blanks. Because here's what happens when she's uncertain about your availability. She starts to wonder. She thinks about who else might be competing for your time. She notices when you don't respond immediately and assumes you might be with someone else. And that uncertainty, that slight edge of competition, keeps her investment high. It reminds her that you're a prize worth keeping. That if she doesn't maintain your interest, someone else will. Again, this isn't about playing games. It's about maintaining your value. It's about not collapsing your entire social existence into her. It's about continuing to live a full life with friends, hobbies, goals, and interests that don't revolve around her. And when you do that naturally, when you genuinely have other things going on, you don't have to fake scarcity. It becomes real, and she feels it. The fourth thing you must never reveal is your complete agenda with her. Most men make the mistake of laying all their cards on the table too early. They tell her exactly how they feel, exactly what they want, exactly where they see things going. And in doing so, they eliminate all tension, all mystery, all reason for her to wonder. Women are drawn to uncertainty in the early stages. Not chaos, not games, but the subtle ambiguity of not knowing exactly where you stand. When you tell her you're falling for her after 3 dates, you think you're being honest and vulnerable. But what you're actually doing is removing all the challenge. You're giving her the ending before she's even invested in the story. And once she knows you're locked in, the pursuit is over. The curiosity dies, and so does the attraction. This is why the men who keep women most interested are the ones who remain slightly elusive. The ones who show interest but never desperate interest. The ones who enjoy her company but don't need it. The ones who make her feel special but don't put her on a pedestal so high that she can't respect the man looking up at her. They keep her guessing just enough to stay engaged, just enough to keep investing, just enough to keep wondering if she's won you over yet. So don't rush to define things. Don't rush to confess your feelings. Don't rush to lock her down before she's fully chosen you. Let the tension build naturally. Let her come to you. Let her be the one who brings up exclusivity, commitment, the future. And when she does, you'll know it's because she genuinely wants it, not because you convinced her into it. The fifth thing you must never reveal is your insecurity about other men. The moment you show jealousy, suspicion, or fear that she might be interested in someone else, you communicate low value. You tell her that you don't believe you're enough to keep her, that you see yourself as replaceable. And if you see yourself that way, she will too. Understand something. Women test men constantly. Not consciously, not maliciously, but instinctively. They mention other guys. They talk about an ex. They like another man's photo. They tell you about a coworker who made them laugh. And they watch your reaction. Are you secure? Or are you threatened? Do you remain unfazed? Or do you spiral into questions and accusations? Your response tells her everything she needs to know about your confidence. The secure man hears her mention another guy and doesn't flinch. He trusts himself. He knows his value. He understands that if she's truly interested in someone else, no amount of jealousy or control will change that. And if she's just testing him, reacting emotionally is exactly how he fails that test. So he stays calm. He stays present. He doesn't interrogate. He doesn't panic. He simply continues being the man she's already attracted to. This doesn't mean you tolerate disrespect. If she's genuinely crossing boundaries, you address it calmly and clearly. But you don't do it from a place of fear or insecurity. You do it from a place of self-respect. There's a massive difference between saying, "I don't like when you do that because it makes me feel insecure," and saying, "That behavior doesn't work for me." One reveals weakness. The other establishes a boundary. The sixth thing you must never reveal is your full emotional range too early. Yes, Vulnerability can build connection, but timing matters. And when you unload your deepest fears, your past traumas, your insecurities, and your emotional wounds before she's fully invested, you overwhelm her. You make her your therapist instead of your partner. And that kills attraction faster than almost anything else. Here's what most men don't understand. Women want a man who has emotional depth, but they want to discover it slowly. They want to earn access to your inner world. They want to feel like they're peeling back layers over time, not having everything dumped on them in week two. Because when you reveal everything too soon, there's nothing left to discover. No misteri, no yerni, just a fully exposed man who's already given her everything. This is especially true with past relationship baggage. When you tell her about your ex who broke your heart, about how you've been hurt before, about how you have trust issues now, you're essentially asking her to fix you. You're positioning yourself as damaged goods. And while she might sympathize, attraction doesn't grow from sympathy. It grows from respect, from admiration, from seeing you as a strong, capable man who has his life together. So keep some things private. Not forever, but for now. Let her see the put-together version first. Let her fall for the man you are today before you introduce her to the wounds of yesterday. Let attraction solidify before you ask for emotional labor. And when you do eventually open up, do it gradually, in small doses, in moments that feel natural and earned, not as a test to see if she'll accept you, but as a gift you're choosing to give. The seventh thing you must never reveal is how much you overthink her behavior. When you ask her what she meant by a text, when you question why she seemed distant, when you analyze every detail of her mood and verbalize your anxious interpretations, you reveal something she finds deeply unattractive. You reveal that you're in your head instead of in your life, that you're worried instead of confident, that you're reacting to her instead of leading yourself. Women are attracted to men who live in reality, not in their anxious projections. They want a man who takes things at face value, who doesn't create problems that don't exist, who doesn't turn a quiet moment into a crisis. Because when you constantly seek reassurance, when you need her to explain herself, when you make her responsible for managing your anxiety, you become exhausting. And exhaustion is the opposite of attraction. Think about this. When she's genuinely into you, her actions show it. She reaches out. She makes time. She engages. She invests. And when those things start to fade, the worst thing you can do is cling tighter. The worst thing you can do is demand explanations. Because if her interest is genuinely fading, no amount of questioning will bring it back. All you'll do is accelerate the end by appearing needy and insecure. The better move is always to match her energy. If she pulls back, you pull back. If she becomes distant, you become busy. Not as a punishment, not as a game, but as a natural response from a man who has self-respect and options. A man who doesn't chase what's walking away. A man who understands that real attraction doesn't need to be begged for. The eighth thing you must never reveal is your complete life story in the first few weeks. When you tell her everything, when you give her full access to your past, your family, your struggles, your victories, your embarrassing moments, your childhood stories, you eliminate the gradual unfolding that keeps relationships interesting. You fast forward through the discovery phase. And once she knows everything, the only direction left is boredom. Attraction thrives on curiosity, on wondering, on wanting to know more. When you dole out information slowly, when you keep certain parts of yourself private, when you don't answer every question in exhaustive detail, you keep her engaged. You keep her asking. You keep her thinking about you when you're not around because there's still so much she doesn't know. This is why the most captivating people are the ones who reveal themselves in layers, who hint at complexity without explaining everything, who tell stories that make you want to hear more, who leave certain things to the imagination. They understand that the full picture is never as interesting as the partially revealed one. That tension and curiosity are what keep people coming back. So be selective. Share the highlights. Share the interesting parts. But keep some things in reserve. Let her discover you over time. Let her feel like she's getting to know someone worth knowing, not someone who dumped his entire autobiography on her before the appetizers arrived. The ninth thing you must never reveal is your desperation for the relationship to work. The moment you communicate that you need this to succeed, that you're hoping this is finally it, that you're tired of being alone, and she feels like the answer, you flip the power dynamic completely. You make her the prize and yourself the contestant. And in that dynamic, attraction dies. Women want to be with men who want them, not men who need them. There's a difference. One is a choice. Need is a void. Want comes from abundance. Need comes from scarcity. Want says, you add value to my already good life. Need says, you're the solution to my empty life. And women instinctively withdraw from need because it places too much pressure on them. It makes them responsible for your happiness. It makes them the center of your world. And that's suffocating. The attractive position is always, I enjoy this. I'm interested in seeing where it goes. But I'm also perfectly fine if it doesn't work out. Not because you don't care, but because you're secure enough in yourself that your well-being isn't dependent on her decision. You're not auditioning for the role of her boyfriend. You're evaluating whether she's a good fit for your life while she does the same. It's mutual. It's equal. And that equality is what allows attraction to flourish. So stop investing everything in outcomes. Stop holding your breath waiting for her to commit. Stop acting like she's your last chance at happiness. Live your life fully whether she's in it or not. And when you do that, when you genuinely mean it, she'll feel the difference. She'll feel the lightness, the lack of pressure, the freedom to choose you because she wants to, not because you need her to. The 10th and final thing you must never reveal is your willingness to compromise your standards for her. The moment you tolerate behavior you normally wouldn't, accept treatment you don't deserve, or ignore red flags because you're afraid of losing her, you communicate something fatal. You tell her that you don't value yourself. And if you don't value yourself, why should she? This is where most men sabotage themselves. They meet a woman they're attracted to and immediately start making exceptions. She cancels plans last minute. He lets it slide. She disrespects him in front of others. He laughs it off. She's inconsistent, unreliable, or manipulative. He tells himself it's worth it because she's beautiful, because the sex is good, because he's lonely. And with every compromise, every lowered standard, every ignored boundary, he loses a piece of her respect. And without respect, attraction cannot survive. Women are attracted to men with standards. Men who know what they want and what they won't tolerate. Men who walk away from situations that don't serve them. Men who value their peace more than they value her presence. Because a man with standards is a man who respects himself. And a man who respects himself is a man worth respecting. So hold your boundaries. Not rigidly, not cruelly, but firmly. If she does something that crosses a line, address it. If she continues, walk away. Not to punish her, not to teach her a lesson, but because you know your worth. Because you understand that no amount of attraction justifies tolerating disrespect. And when you do that, when you genuinely prioritize yourself, something interesting happens. She either steps up or she steps aside. And either outcome is better than staying in a dynamic where you're constantly compromising yourself to keep her interested. Here's the core truth that ties all of this together. Attraction isn't about becoming someone else. It's about protecting the best parts of who you are. It's about understanding that not everything needs to be shared, that some things are better left mysterious. That vulnerability has a time and place. That confidence isn't arrogance. It's simply refusing to diminish yourself for someone else's comfort. The men who keep women interested aren't the ones who do everything right. They're the ones who remain themselves, who don't collapse their identity into the relationship, who don't sacrifice their mission, their standards, or their self-respect in the name of love. They understand that attraction is built on tension, mystery, and respect. And they guard those elements carefully, knowing that once they're gone, they're almost impossible to rebuild. So the next time you're tempted to reveal everything, to lay all your cards on the table, to seek reassurance, to prove your feelings, to compromise your boundaries, ask yourself this. What am I gaining? Is this building attraction or killing it? Is this coming from strength or insecurity? Is this serving the relationship or just my need for validation? Because the uncomfortable truth is this. The version of you she fell for isn't the version of you that reveals everything. It's the version that knows when to hold back. The version that remains slightly out of reach. The version that keeps her curious, engaged, and wondering. Not through games, not through manipulation, but through the simple act of being a man who values himself enough not to give everything away. And when you master that balance, when you learn what to reveal and what to protect, you'll notice something shift. She'll stop pulling away. She'll start leaning in. She'll invest more, chase harder, value you deeper. Not because you tricked her, but because you finally stopped sabotaging yourself. Because you finally became the man she's been hoping you'd be all along. The man who knows his worth. The man who doesn't need her validation. The man who remains unmoved by her tests. The man who has standards and keeps them. The man who reveals himself slowly, thoughtfully, strategically. The man who understands that attraction isn't built on honesty alone. It's built on mystery, tension, and the quiet confidence of a man who knows he's enough. That man is who you must become. Not for her, but for yourself. Because when you do, keeping her interest becomes effortless. Not because you're hiding who you are, but because you're finally showing her the version of you worth staying for.